Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you had a good day in the market. We're reviewing March 4th, Wednesday's price action, 0-day options, and this small account challenge I got going on. Still some more volatility in the mix. Here's Eric's 30-minute chart. He is Spy Day Trade on YouTube. Find his Discord in the description. Let's see, where did we? Yeah, opened here. No gap. Still in this buying continuation from the bottom Bollinger on the daily bounce. This was pretty deep actually. This touched the bottom Bollinger on the daily. This one pushed in it, and yeah, my video yesterday, I guess that was 2 days ago, a day late. I was like, if I swung trade, I would have gotten calls. But there was a drawdown here, so you had to time it right, or some swing calls. Just being that deep in the bottom Bollinger, it can a little bit, but it's usually gonna at least consolidate and then catch up wait for 5 day to catch up. In this case, it bounced out of it pretty aggressively, but credit spreads, futures, whatever, to catch this move to the upside, because it's not always as quick. Anyways, today, or Wednesday, rallied up, stayed in the green. I don't know if he had it charted quite like this. Maybe he did. We got 5 day and 20 day up here. 5 days, it's just been dancing back and forth. 5 day is now below 20 day. Just kind of built liquidity all day on the moving averages there. So that's what we have here on this 1 minute chart. The dip and rip. So my first charting here was, let's see, I had gray, purple, and gold. Yep, those are the first ones I identified this morning. And let's check out these trades. I used the E-Trade desktop broker, which I've used it before, but I didn't really like it, and I tried it again yesterday. And you can actually have hotkeys for options on there. It's kind of cumbersome because you have to be selected on the option box itself for it to work, if that makes sense. Like I can't have it clicked anywhere else. It has to be, I have to have the option chart up, and then it has to be selected, and then the hotkey will work. So yeah, and then I couldn't quite tell my P&L at one point during the day. I thought I was down less than I was. Normally I don't check, and I don't. But I was like midday, I'm like, let me see where I'm at to make sure I'm not, at my max loss or anything. And I thought it was less, and then much later in the day, it was quite a bit more. So ended up being a max red day. And reviewing my trades now, like, yeah, I actually did a lot of trading, some over trading. Problem was, and we'll get there, but there was a big problem, and the price action now seems like it's the past few days has been more like it was before, where my entries, I basically have to be able to hold through a pretty big drawdown before it starts to go. Like it's doing big retests in the opposite direction. And when I was noticing that before, I was starting with one contract and I'd add into it, and I would kind of expect it to go against me for a bit. I don't know, maybe it's my charting's a little bit off, but today was no different, So I'm gonna have to hold basically past where it was before. Before it was easy, like it'd break it, it'd maybe retest, but it might just break it and keep going. Now there's now definitely times where it's breaking it and fully retesting the bottom support, which is a nice spot to get entries, but if you're getting on the breakout, it's hard to endure. And the IV's still high, but today definitely lowered. It came down quite a bit. I think it was like 26% or so instead of in the 30s. First trade is at 10:02, so pretty slow. There was data at 9:45 and 10:02. So purple I had for these resistances right here, and then as a support here, you see it breaks it, flips into resistance. Potentially you get puts there. That's pretty aggressive, especially if you had gold already, because that's very tight price action. And early charting, early candles, I'm not confident in the lines yet in my charting, just because there's hardly any price action. But as I progress, hopefully I get more confident. Some days I'm like, okay, that's from getting those like really tight little early morning structures of inverse cups and handles, or in this case it'd be breaking this purple in a steeper selling, which I didn't even have at that point, but breaking that and then flipping into resistance is all I need for a nice defined risk for stop right here. And then grinding down gold, but yeah, it'd be hard to know where to even take profits on that thing. I'd have to chart. I mean, I could have charted something a little more aggressive here. If I was in a position, I would have started charting something. But yeah, it looks like it's kind of just gold actually. Yeah, so that would have been hard. Anyways, I didn't take that trade. 10.02, which is right here. Is it right there? Yep. So broke purple. Broke purple, right? Broke my purple. It's on these wicks. There's one wick up here. Broke it. I got it here. I actually wait till 10.02. Oh, you know what? Was I on a phone call? I was. This was part of the problem. That's crazy. That was all the same day. So weird. I had a phone call. I was on the phone through this, which was fine. Then it came up here, and I'm like, yeah, shouldn't trade on the phone. It's kind of like you just can't focus. It looked easy. That's always a problem. Broke my purple, inverse head and shoulder, going for a cup close, and of course this is the one where it comes down to retest my support of gray here, which is beautiful in hindsight. Just beautiful to add in here, even if I wanted, or if I had been a little more diligent and charted one up there, could have seen it was wicking above there and to be patient. And then when it comes down here, I could have considered here for my stop being gray. It definitely wants to start to bounce in anticipation of it breaking this purple, because to me this basically broke it, and then it's just retesting the supports there, grabbing a little more liquidity. So I got in right here. I did actually wait pretty good, but that's partially because I was on the phone. I think I was like, oh. And I got out on that big green candle, or big red candle, probably at the very bottom of it. No, not too bad, like midway. I don't know where it was midway, but it's a pretty nasty red candle. Came in back into the blue. I'm like, oh, this still could be a head for a head and shoulder. If it breaks the gray, you don't want to get puts. So cup hadn't completed yet. I wasn't able to focus 100% on that. So 133 to 114, pretty nasty first trade. Next one was at 10:08, 10:11. So I did end up getting back in. I was off the phone. I was very late on this one. I think I was off. I was off the phone, but I wasn't quite focused. You have to get in the zone, because you're setting yourself up to emotionally and mentally suffer, and you have to be prepared for that. So I got in on this candle. It was definitely a bit of a chase, very late. I was early on the candle, but yeah, so it broke in here. I guess maybe it wasn't too bad because I was waiting for it to kind of close above here. And I think I was using the other brokerage of that, or the desktop platform, so it might have been a little slow on my execution, even though after I figured it out better, I should be faster on it. But yeah, I got in here at 10:08 for a call for $1.39. At that point, I didn't have this white. I had this white, so yeah, I guess at that point I'm like, well, cup close for this wick, because we're kind of already above the bodies. Of course, we have the moving averages up here I'd love to hit. I need to get my mouse pad, man. My mouse is dragging. But since I was so late, a retest, I'd love to get more. And I don't want to hold through this drawdown. So anyways, late entries, you got to be quick on your exits. 10:08, held it till it broke this red. So I closed it actually right up here at the beginning of this candle. So I got a nice exit. Sure, now hindsight would have been nice, but I'm glad I closed there. Since it was a late exit, I got to close on the breaking of this most aggressive buying, which was, let's see, 139 to 158. So not a bad recovery from the one before. Maybe about break even then. Would have just been nice to got this better. And then if I could have had runners. If I got like one here, which I maybe would have, potentially not if I had this one. But then I could have gotten more on this bounce, or definitely once I started to see it bouncing. And then I could have had runners. I could have sold one at the whole trade. Just starts to snowball one way or the other. So if you're jumping in late, it's fine. You just have to know what you're doing and be content with less. Next one was at 11:13. Got another one 11:18. So waited quite a while for all this to play out. Came up into the moving averages. Can be sketchy up here. Sometimes they're nice for resistances or supports. Sometimes it just builds liquidity on them. Rid of this. So you can see at that point the moving averages were, I can't quite remember, but pretty much in this area. So came up, came down. Oh yeah, okay. This is when it, oh wow, this is the first time this happened. So I had my white here. It looks so nice now how I have it drawn. I don't know what I exactly had it on before, but it wasn't this flat, it was steeper. And maybe it was on this. I don't know where it came from. I deleted it. I try and keep the charts as clean as I can. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I really don't like all the drawing. Sometimes I leave more drawings just so you guys can see and for review. Yeah, I think it was more like that. It wasn't quite that steep. It wasn't quite that steep, but it did cut up like right here. Anyways, this is where it is now. It was, I think, a little steeper at that point. 11.13, 11.18. Got them both for 54 cents. This is for continuation basically, and it bouncing on the bottom of what is this channel now, but this channel was higher. Okay, yeah, it was here. So right here, it was like a perfect bounce on it. It did break that white a little bit, but if you put that white down on the wick, it was still within the range of this white in case it was bouncing off that as well. Got one here, got one there. Actually, I maybe didn't have this one at all at that point. Yeah, I don't think I did. Yeah, because I had purple. So purple was my bullish building liquidity. So I missed this trade, which was kind of a bummer. Definitely a bummer. It was, I mean, it's nice here in hindsight, but it was a nice trade that I should have caught. Came up. I hadn't drawn this one yet. That's right. At this point, I hadn't drawn it yet. So I'm seeing it coming down, retesting purple. That's what this is. And then also potentially retesting the bottom of this white. And kind of overshot it a little bit. Or maybe I did have it there. I can't quite remember if I did. But you know the reason I was getting in. 11.13, 11.14. No, 11.13, 11.18 I bought for 54 for 54. So got them both on these candles. And then what I had charted there at that time, it broke it right here. And I know I was like, it could have broken that and still be selling this purple, or at least the purple is controlling the price action, finding it as support, which it was. But I think I stopped out of these. Yeah, this was another painful. It was small, painful to just my confidence. It wasn't though, not my confidence. I guess this is an anger built. I stopped on this candle right here for my calls. So that's what I'm saying. That my idea was right. This one wasn't much of a drawdown. It was just there was a channel I had not drawn correctly, which was this white one. I almost held it for the purple, but that's going against me, and I can't just start trading like that. But I should have charted maybe more diligently at that point. I just didn't have it. Like from these resistances to me, these were almost just flat, but I could have. This resistance to this support, it's there as along with that wick. So there, it showed up other places. It's just, I just didn't have it. So anyways, I ended up stopping out there, unfortunately. And this, of course, this doesn't look great, but if I'm getting in here at the bottom, it's really good for confidence and the charting and of course P&L wise. So 54, 54, and then 43. Not a terrible stop out, but it was a bummer when I started doing this. And of course I can jump back in, but yeah, I can only get so many of those. I don't know if I did jump back in. No, I didn't. Next trade is at 11.34. Let's call. So I guess I kind of jumped back in once it broke the purple. That was another thing with this trade. It was an early trade. This is a wedge trade, basically. Trying to catch inverse head. A zombie, as Eric puts it, a retracement. So those can go against you and grind, which is kind of the nature of them. So I decided to wait till it broke purple, which I did. And then this is the type of stuff I'm talking about right here. So yeah, I don't know what changed, but the fact that it broke it, and then it just, I guess it wasn't buying up. That was part of the reason why we didn't get nice price action after this buy, is because We're at the moving averages. On the 30-minute, it was maybe at this resistance at that point too. Yeah, this is blue resistance, which is the bearish controlled buying. So there's quite a few little resistances up here, which is why I think once it broke out, the buying was very muted and it wasn't buying in aggressive fashion. So yeah, let's see. 34 got a call right here, and then held. Like, man, this thing, it could grind down purple for a bit. And again, I didn't have white. Well, maybe I had white at that point. I definitely want to hold it all the way down to white. But yeah, when it's like this, I just have to be able to withstand a little more of a drawdown on the trade. But yeah, I don't know. Trading around moving averages up near the resistance is not a great idea. And at 11:30, so there's a lot of things kind of going against me here. 67 cents to 51, closed out at 38 on this candle. Yep, this candle did a complete reverse. I closed out like here. Not to say I wouldn't have closed out here. Like, yeah, it sucked to close it and then see it wick down there. I'm like, geez. But I most likely would have closed here. Don't think I would have been able to hold through this. Unless if I had more of like a horizontal stop, like liquidity down here. Here would be my stop. Potentially if I was on a more green day, and I would be more willing to kind of hold through a little drawdown there. Next one was at 12.25. At that point, I maybe had. Oh, is this the one? I get it at 12.25. I can delete these. So I charted this later, this gold. Let's see, 12.25. I'm in a call. Okay, for a little bounce on white. Yeah. So this same algo could show up and trade in a tighter range. And that's why I'm in on this one. Oh, that purple I just deleted. That's why. Yep. Yeah, that purple. I was in a call for a bounce on that. Cup and handle. Looking for the breakthrough. The purple. Purple wasn't building liquidity at that point, though. I think it was this gold. Yeah. So that one, 12.25, 12.26, 64 to 60 cents. It was a quick stop out. Yeah. Probably a little revenge trading here in the middle of the day. Although I wasn't tilted. I wasn't out of it. Wasn't upset. I didn't really know what my P&L was, so it was kind of just whatever. Trying to trade what I saw. Then I flipped. Wait. What? 12.25, 12.26. I got back in at 12.25, 12.26. I wonder if it's because I'm using the other platform. I got back in. Weird. I got back in at 12.26. I think that was a mistake. Closed out here at 12.29. Yeah, like I said, I was using the other brokerage, and I don't know if I made a mistake there. Next trade, yeah, I thought I might have flipped here. 12.31. I got a put, and then 12.33. I got another put. 84 cents and 80. Okay, so this was the one I was referring to. It happened back here, and then it happened here too. So this line basically was a little less aggressive still. I had it, but this was it breaking out. And that was my reasoning. So it was more like something like that, wherever it was. So yeah, got in here, 12.31. It went in my favor a little bit. And I was waiting for a bounce to get more, and sure enough, this candle, it filled me. I had a limit order. Filled me, ripped up. And that's why I had these drawn. Because gold is going to be my stop. Ripped up, shot out of it, and then, yeah, I closed one at 68 cents, closed the next one at 60 cents. I did hold one more for here for the purple. And 5-day actually. I think that was thinking of 5-day, yeah. So then I was like, dang, that sucked. Because I was green on this one, but it wasn't, because that's not what I wanted. So that was the one that really hurt with the charting. This one back here wasn't as big of a deal. This one I was confident with it. And then I did a little rechart. And I'm like, what's going on here? And then I moved everything up, aligned everything up a little better. I'm like, wow, that would have been a perfect entry if I charted that right. Perfect entry down here for calls. Even if I want to wait for gold, like here, sure. Given it's small, but yeah. Next one, 1236, 1237. You can see I'm kind of averaging into these two, which maybe it's not a good idea. I mean, I'm wanting to scale up, and the IV was smaller, so I could, but being it's middle of the day and I'm down, I maybe should start scaling down more. Scaling down a bit, though, because these contracts are pretty cheap, 55 cents. 1236, 1237. Calls. All right, I got to end this video. Market's open. Yeah, so I did flip there for that move once I charted it. 36, 37. Did I take any profit on this one? Yep. 54, 55 cents. Nope. I held it through to a loss. How did that happen? Oh, was that a put? No, it was a call. 1236, 1237. Close it at 1238. What? Oh, on that candle. Yeah, that's frustrating. Close it on that candle. I was going to use 5-day for my stop. There's another wick that stopped me out. Yeah. You can see how micro I start trading at times. It looks like a little... Well, it's because I'm kind of chasing it. That's too bad. Given this price action now in hindsight, it's very choppy. Next one's 322. 322. Averaged in for puts. Yeah, I was pretty much down. I think I was down 100 at that point. And I knew it. Before, I thought I was only down 25. I think I was more down like 70. And I was like, I checked again. I realized, oh, I'm down like 100. So I stopped trading for all that. And then once this chart I trusted, because it was showing me. And then we had a false break here. Proper false break. So got in here. For the move down to VWAP right here. Or beyond, whatever. 54 cents and 47 cents. Got two of them. Closing for 41 and 36 at 24 right here, and then 25. And then got into calls, thinking this is the bottom. Inverse head, bottom of the channel. So yeah, these calls, they worked. I mean, it went in the right favor, but we just didn't have continuation. And if it wasn't buying up in the gray, I didn't want it. So I was hoping this for the kind of the 10-minute move to kind of rip up, break the gold for that inverse head and shoulder. 325. Close that one for 333 for like break even, which was right here once that candle closed below gray. And then 351 to 353. Yep, another break, another false break right here. So look, this side it broke out, that side it broke out. This was for the breakout this way, but it is actually just bouncing on 5-day. 351 to 353. Small loss there too. 32 cents to 27 cents for the trades we just went over. Shoot, I can't show. I think I was down. I think I'm down 150 yesterday. So bigger loss than I want, and bigger than I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have a hard cut at 100. It's just as I'm trying to scale up to make more, it's tricky to try and have such a tight stop on the day. So thanks for watching, guys. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy money sticks around. Peace out.